You cannot access your spiritual gifts until you deal with what is inside of your body. And what I mean by that is stuck energy and stuck emotions from your past, from past pain, from past trauma, even from past lives that is hiding out, waiting for your presence. Because we cannot have a new experience until we have had the full experience in front of us, even if that's from decades ago. My student, Nikki, she is such a gifted psychic medium. I mean, she's the kind of medium where she sets up for a reading, her whole room is filled with spirits and ancestors for the person sitting in front of her. I have chills just talking about it right now. She is incredible. When I first started working with her, she was terrified. Terrified of her gifts, terrified of even looking at it or thinking about it. And yet, inexplicably drawn to it, really wanting to express it and too scared to do anything with it. In childhood, she had a lot of scary paranormal experiences. And when we have those experiences, we don't live in a culture where we are taught about those, where we're taught to understand those. Sometimes our family says, that's all in your head, you're making that up. Other times our family will feed right into the fear. As a result of that, Nikki's fear just kind of compounded throughout her life. And by the time her and I started working together, she was riddled with anxiety. I mean, debilitating anxiety. For a period there, she could almost do nothing. She was paralyzed with the anxiety she was feeling. And she had ADHD to boot, so her brain is like working on overdrive. And when we have a big active brain and we're really like intelligent and have, neurodivergent things going on, it can be even harder to like address the core of what's going on because we just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. And that's what she was experiencing. When we first started working together, she's like, I can't. I don't know what to do. But gently, gently, I led her through my soulmatic renewal process, working on her fear around her intuitive gifts, her debilitating anxiety in her life, helping her to manage her ADHD symptoms. And when we were doing our sessions, we discovered that she was carrying fear and stuck energy in her body, not just from her childhood, but from lifetimes of persecution, lifetimes of fear, lifetimes of disempowerment. And it was still hanging out in her body. And the reason it was still hanging out in her body from this lifetime and other lifetimes is because nobody in any of these places had taught her how to just feel and be with her experience. Nobody teaches us how to do that. Trying to cope with these like traumatic, painful, conditioned experiences in the moment the best that we know how, because nobody teaches us how to feel our feelings. Nobody teaches us how to do that. That is a new concept. Even now, people say to me, what do you mean feel your feelings? What does that even look like? I don't understand how I'm not feeling my feelings. And what's happening is when you're having an experience, an intense experience, and that could look like a traumatic experience, that could just look like a very painful experience. It doesn't have to be all out trauma. And it can even look like somebody denying your humanness, your authenticity, and telling you who you are and who you should be. And that's what we call conditioning. And when we are subject to any of those and we have our responses, our emotional responses to those experiences, then and we don't know how to just be with it, we do whatever we can to survive the moment. We stuff it, shove it away, we hurl it outside of us, we run away, we do whatever we need to do to make our way through that experience and survive it. But what happens is this: emotion is energy in motion. And when emotion in that energy in motion is interrupted, it doesn't go anywhere because energy does not die. It only transforms. First law of physics, right? So when that emotion and that energy is interrupted, it actually stores itself inside the body. And it's not trying to hurt you. It's just waiting for your presence. And when you give it your presence and you let yourself have that experience, then it releases itself from the body and it opens you up to new experiences, which you can't have while you're gummed up with the old, because we are here for the whole spectrum of the human experience. Every piece of it is meant for our experience. And when we deny any piece of our human experiences, we get stuck. It's like an addict getting stunted in their maturity when they start using. Same kind of thing when we are not able to have our full human experience in the moment. But that human experience can be had anytime, whether it's in this lifetime or in other lifetimes, which is what happened with Nikki. As we went through this process, as she was able to access these energies and these emotions that she didn't know were there, but were causing so much disruption and destruction in her life, this debilitating anxiety preventing her from not only doing her spiritual work, but from trusting herself, from her creative expression. She just balled up and was unable to move, like was in a permanent functional freeze. And we got her out of that in really a pretty short amount of time. And today she is one of the most serious and best psychic mediums I know. The amount of fear she felt was directly proportionate to the amount of power she held in that arena. How amazing is that? She has launched her psychic mediumship business, and because she is so aligned and she is following the call of her heart, all of her business is word of mouth. People have a reading for her and they tell 10 people. And those 10 people book, they have a reading with her, they tell 10 people, and just boom, 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 like that, because she is aligned with her heart. And when she cleared out that stuck energy in her body, she could hear her heart, and she had the confidence in herself to trust it and to take action on it. And when we're gummed up with old experiences and old energy that is either not ours or is our experience and we are avoiding it and we're running away from it, we cannot hear it clearly. We can't hear the call clearly, and we're way too afraid, cannot trust ourselves enough to take action on what it is we need to be doing with our lives. Okay, so what the hell do I mean by stuck energy in the body? Good question. Stuck energy is the interrupted emotional experience from whatever was in front of you. Let's say you're a little person and you're outside and you find a mud puddle and you're so excited and you're jumping around in a mud puddle and having a grand old time, not thinking about anything except how much fun that mud puddle is. And then you run inside to go tell your mom how much fun you're having in the mud puddle. And so you're tracking mud all through the house. But mom's busy doing the dishes. The washing machine is broken. It's like bubbles are flying everywhere and she's like stressed to the max, and she turns around and all she sees is the muddy footprints trailed in behind you, and you're coming at her with this joy and this "Mom, let me tell you," and mom barks at you or yells at you or gets angry because you tracked mud in the house, because she doesn't have the capacity to meet you where you're at your joy. As a small child, you don't know how to handle that. You don't know what to do with those emotions. They feel so big and so overwhelming. So what do? You swallow it as much as you can. You swallow those emotions, you stop them short. Doesn't mean you won't be upset. You can be upset and you can still be cutting off a huge portion of your full experience. And so that little child stuffs it and carries on. And later on in adulthood, you find yourself triggered by things that don't make sense. You find yourself repeating unhelpful patterns. Maybe you have this pattern show up in your relationships where it seems like your partners are always getting mad at you. Like whenever you're in your joy and having fun, suddenly somebody's mad at you. Somebody's saying, "That's not right. You shouldn't be doing it that way." And you don't even know where this is coming from. And you don't have to know where it's coming from. You don't have to know what the experience was. It's just the stored energy in your body. When you allow yourself to feel the pain and the shock and the fear and the grief from that original experience inside of your body, whether you remember the experience with mom or not, you let yourself have that emotional experience, that physical experience. And what it does is it dislodges. It says, "Thank you for your presence." And then it clears. And then you're open up for a new kind of relationship dynamic. Suddenly that pattern melts away and you're seeing that your relationships are not bringing in that kind of anger and disdain anymore. It's like magic. I'm not even kidding. So with Nikki, we went in and we moved through this stuck energy in her body. And we happened to find not only the stuck energy from this lifetime and the fear that she'd experienced in childhood with her paranormal experiences, but we found past lifetimes. We found her persecuted for her gifts, for her magic, for her spirituality, for her wonder and her awe and her ability to talk to the dead. It was so scary for her in that moment. And we just said, okay, put it aside and feel it in the body. And within minutes, my beautiful friend, she had cleared that stuck energy from her body and she was no longer afraid of her mediumship gifts. Suddenly she was showing up fully and open and clear to talk to spirit in service to other people. And her heart activated and clarity came and she moved confidently and fully and completely in the direction of her dreams and started her psychic mediumship business. And she is so happy. She spends her days in ritual. She spends her days reading, talking to spirit, and her whole life is just becoming this vortex of divine energy as she continues to let go of any of the stuck energy in her body that is preventing her from fully embracing and moving towards and diving into her new lived experience. This is an incredible shift for Nikki. Nikki was afraid. Nikki was stuck. Nikki didn't know what to do. She didn't trust herself. She didn't know how to get past the fear that she was feeling that had started in one place but was permeating every area of her life. And now she still has some of that come up. She still has some anxiety that she deals with, but now she deals with it by using somatic renewal, by addressing it in the body and clearing it out. And over time, it gets less and less and less and less until eventually one day it's going to be gone. And that is so powerful. Lifetimes it took her to amass that much stuck energy to cause that level of fear. And it was a matter of a couple of years of working together before she is completely transformed and moved into the life of her literal dreams. I'm so proud of Nikki. She's so committed. And she went in, and this technique, it is simple, but it really takes commitment because you got to do it consistently. And boy, did she just dive right into that and make that commitment and make that happen. Yeah, I want to share in my meditation today, God told me that your heart's desire is God's will. They are one and the same. And when we surrender, we merge our heart's desire with God's will. The two become one. And that is when life opens up. That is when we get ourselves on purpose and on point. Spirit says that we don't have to think about the work and the future. We get to just be in play. If we can trust ourselves enough, trust our heart enough to take action on that, all the rest of the doors will open. This is what Joseph Campbell was picking up on when he said, follow your bliss and doors will open where there were none. It is the merging of the divine will and your heart's desire. And our free will is the ability to not choose our heart's desire. And I want to help you choose your heart's desire by first helping you know what the heck it is. And second, giving you the confidence to say yes to your heart's desire and stop second guessing yourself and questioning yourself and living in fear. That fear is like interference to the divine. It's interference in your heart. And somatic renewal will clear that stuck energy, clear those old emotional experiences so that you can hear it clearly and have confidence to say yes to your heart's desire. Nikki is just one brilliant example of what can happen when you make a commitment to this level of work. I love somatic renewal because it blends the practical body 3D experience with divine resonance, with connection to divine source energy. And I have found over and over again that you can't really maintain that line of communication to source, that connection to your heart and what it is speaking to you, when we don't deal with and have the full experience of the human experience. We are here for all of it. My vision is that this work becomes so ingrained in our society that we end up with a generation of children who know how to have every experience of the moment and are not inheriting helpful coping mechanisms, the traumas, the conditioning of the previous generations. This can happen, and it starts with me and you. Me and you are on the forefront of the healing revolution, the connected revolution, the heart revolution. Imagine if everybody was able to do what they love. If they could have the courage, the clarity, and the confidence to make that choice, and then doors would open where there were none, and that would make for an incredible world. How many opportunities would ripple out from the experience of the individual opening doors with their heart's desire? I have packaged my somatic renewal modality into an hour and a half on-demand masterclass. Additionally, in that masterclass, I teach you how to pair your human design chart with your somatic renewal work. This is typically something I reserve for my really high-touch clients, but it's for you in that masterclass for just $27. You can click the link in the description, and you can go to soulmatic-renewal.com. soulmatic-renewal.com. This needs to be accessible to make that vision a reality. I love you.